Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show.
Hi, folks. This is Dr. Gail, SOB, back with your second half of the tips to live by as an SOB. As you know, I've already given you the first six, and just to go over them again, I want to make sure that you know what they are. The number one tip is start now to be who you want to be. The next tip is hang around positive people and positive events. The next one is to understand yourself. And then number 4 is to be assertive, not aggressive. And number 5, prevention is the key to good health. And number 6 is to fire up your SOB spirit. So here we are in tip number 7, which is to find your balance. And boy, is that important, because if you don't have balance in your life, you have nothing. So here are my Gayle's tales on balance. Many years ago, on my final sales trip to New York for my talent agency, I decided I wanted to see as many people as possible in 1 week because that was all I had. I made a list of all the ad agencies, photographers, production companies, and talent coordinators I could find. I sent them all a postcard asking if they would like to set an appointment, never hear from me again, receive a call when I got there, or just go to see them, keep them on the mailing list. Some I heard from, others I didn't, and those that responded were a mixed bag. I then took the definite appointments and blocked out times and geographical areas. Then I took the ones who said mornings or afternoons were better and combined those. Like I mentioned, the ones that basically said, take a number or take a chance, were the ones I listed last. To make a long week, whatever it says and whatever I say, and to make it shorter, I saw 67 people. Now hear this, 67 people in 4.5 days, and I brought back 17 contracts. Not bad, huh? Well, the thing was, I was exhausted, but you bet I remembered I was carrying, just all kinds of things with me. I carried headshots and one jeans up and down the streets of New York. I was flexible enough to change who I was going to see and when, based on definite appointments I already had, as it worked. All the other things fell into place. Can you imagine 67 people, though, in 4.5 days? That was something else. And those headshots and things I was lugging were not light. So here are the lessons that I learned. If your idea is sound and makes sense to you, go ahead and do it. It may have to be tweaked and nudged a little, but the forward movement will produce results that will lead to other better happenings. Read biographies of famous people, and you will begin to appreciate how many failures they experienced before they hit it big. If you do nothing because of a fear of the unknown or rejection, nothing is guaranteed to happen. Now, Barbara DeAngelis, who some of you may know, she's written several books, she says women need real moments of solitude and self-reflection to balance out how much of ourselves we give away. Because it's true, women do a lot more than men do. So we've got to balance our lives. And Martha Washington, remember Martha Washington, George's wife, I am still determined to be cheerful and happy in whatever situation I may be, for I have also learned from experience that the greater part of our happiness or misery depends upon our dispositions and not about our circumstances. So basically, what she's saying is it's up to you to have a great day. Now, this is coming from just many, many years ago, Martha Washington. And of course, Barbara DeAngelis is our current person. But what wise words of wisdom. And now for tip number 8, building lasting relationships. Now, I don't know about you, but I am still friends with a woman who I went from kindergarten to senior high school with. And I don't know how many of you have friends from the past, but I mean, I think that's the longest relationship. That's got to be at least, what, 75 years. You can imagine. So, I want you to think about the people who are in your life and how you work with them and so forth. So here are my Gail's tales. It's very difficult to set limits when the person involved is important to you. However, I must confess that every time I get to a breaking point and confront the other party, the matter does get resolved. It's happened in my family, in business, and in the community. Sometimes I've lost my cool and I regretted it because it took more out of me than the other person. Have you ever noticed, folks, that when you get angry or upset with someone, you're more exhausted than they are? They just look at you and say, oh, well, it's not a big deal to them, but you're wiped out. And that's one of the reasons I tell you, when you have something to say it to the person, because you go about complaining to everybody else and they can't do anything about it. So you just need to understand that you need to control this. So what are the lessons that I've learned? You make a difference in people's lives by how you live yours. When you stand up for yourself, others can't take advantage of you. Your beliefs and wishes may not be popular, but you must learn to live your values so people will respect your words and your thoughts. That is so, so important. And you know Irma Bombach. You remember Irma Bombach. She said, when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me. Now think about that. I used everything you gave me. Can you say that? Will you be able to say that? How great. And another quote from Ethel Mumford says, God gives us our relatives. Thank God we can choose our friends. So there you have it, folks. Relatives you can't do much about, but friends you can. So that was tip number 8. So now tip number 9 is really, really important, especially in this day and age, and that's managing your stress. And I always talk about the fact that I'm not a stressed person, and I'm really not. I mean, there are some situations that stress me out, and you would think with what I'm going through right now, I'd be really stressed. But I'm really happy. I'm not a depressed person. I'm not someone who feels sorry for myself. And I have these 2 wonderful cats who live with me. And the minute I sit down, or if I go into bed, like I go sometimes into the bed to watch TV if I'm feeling a little bit woozy, but I'm sitting up. And I have one cat that is a lap cat. And the minute I sit down, I don't care if it's at the computer or if it's in the couch or if it's in bed, he is on my lap. My other cat, who is younger, she's 2, she likes to cuddle right next to me. And she'll cuddle up into this little ball as tight as she can be. And I can tell you, folks, when they're next to me, I don't want to get up. It just feels so good. So anyway, here are my Gail's tales for stress. I have always considered myself able to handle stress. Certainly running a business, raising 3 children, staying married, having civic and professional responsibilities, and eventually managing even more complex issues like handling real estate dilemmas, juggling doctor's appointments for me and my husband, running an association, writing books and articles, speaking, coaching, and consulting all at once can take their toll. I was able to continue my responsibilities through my chemo and radiation treatments because I kept exercising throughout and took my nutritional supplements, kept a stress log to help me forecast and deal with abrasive incidents and continue to laugh. And I'm going to take a little aside here, folks. For those of you who don't know, we all experience about 100 abrasive incidents a day. That's about 3,000 a month. There's always somebody that will come in and go, you know, that feeling, and therefore, you know, you just say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is really happening. But there are people that, you know, do that to you. So it's not what happens to you, but it's how you deal with it. All right, back to my Gale's tales. I will never forget being amazed after rooming at a convention with someone I had known for only a short time. After a day or so, she said, Gail, if I followed you around for 30 days, I'd be a much more disciplined person. Without my knowing it, she saw me as a role model because of how I work and how I take care of myself with habits developed over a lifetime. That was a very revealing time to me, folks. You know, you don't realize people are observing you from afar. And that's one of the reasons we always say, as a speaker, don't be terrific on the platform and then treat people lousy when you get off the platform. You are who you are all the time. So here are my lessons learned. Keeping yourself strong and prepared for the bad stress that will inevitably present itself is a key to survival for SOBs. You must listen to your own body and mind. Get the best advice you can from the experts, but make your own decisions. No one can live your life or know what would work for you but you. How and what you do daily always allows you to cope with the disasters and enjoy the the highs. It's important because only you know what the blisses are, and only you know what the aggravations are, and they're going to be with you a lot, and you're going to have to deal with them, and they can either cause you stress or they can make you stronger. And you think some of these CEOs who run these giant corporations, just because they make the big bucks, that they have no problems? Listen, they have to report to stockholders and stakeholders. They have to make sure that they are not being taken over by some other conglomerate. They have to be ready for any of these newbies that come up with all these great new fancy ideas and put them out of business. Who would have ever thought, as growing up, that Life magazine and Look magazine would not be here anymore? Who ever thought growing up that Sears or J.C. Penney's or any of our larger department stores would be in the trouble that they're in now? Why? Because we've got this online shopping. And who would have ever thought that Amazon, who started out selling only books, and it was laughed at because they were losing money all the time. But look where they are now. And look at the fact that they've bought Whole Foods, so they're in the grocery business. They're going into the pharmaceutical industry. So you've got to be ready for all of these things, and you never know what's going to happen. So the SOB tip number 10 is, image may not be everything, but it's darn important. And you know where I'm finding this a great deal, folks? We are living in a Zoom economy now. Everybody is getting Zoomed to death. And I am just absolutely amazed about how people come on Zoom. Now, I don't say you have to have, you know, your best bib and tucker on, but you've got to look presentable. Your hair should be done. If you're a woman, you should have makeup on. If you're, if you're a business person, you should have not your old T-shirt on and sweatpants and so forth. Now, there are industries that's appropriate. You know, if you're in the digital world and you're young and you're that's how you came to work, that's fine. But if you're in corporate America, you still have to look nice, at least from the waist up. So that's a nice shirt, a nice blouse, a nice tie. It might be wearing earrings if you're a woman, and your jewelry should be tasteful. I mean, there's nothing that will ever do what pearls do for a woman. They're great. So just be aware that image is important. So here are my Gale's tales. And remember, I was in the image business to begin with. People don't know this, but my first business was a modeling school. And I had the top models in Florida. I had top models that went to New York and went to Europe. And I did a lot of fashion shows and a lot of fashion production, and image consulting was part of what I did. So I have a big history in that. And that's why when I'm on Zoom, people say, well, you don't look your age. I say, because I know how to make up. And so I know what to do. So it's all a part of this. So here are my Gale's tales. I was in the image and modeling world for many years. When I started, I wore conservative black dresses, pillbox hats, uh, white pearls, and cotton gloves. Then I progressed to pantsuits, then regular suits, and now I wear more cotton and casual styles, especially since I'm now allowed only one carry-on bag on the plane, and I refuse to check luggage. And of course, that's how I traveled to 50 countries, if you can imagine. And I also had my overheads and so forth. However, whatever the style, everything was well coordinated, and there was always one focal point. The clothes weren't and still aren't designer, and I bought more things on sale, but I was put together. In addition, people often comment about the energy in my voice and the pace at which I walk with. Everything gives a look together. So make sure your entire package makes you look first class. So a part of image is not only what you're wearing, but how you talk, how you walk, how you present yourself, etc. So it's the entire package. So here are my lessons learned. If you're the head of a corporation or have multi-millions in the bank, you may not need to have a total image. But if no one knows who you are or why you're there, you definitely need to have a well-shoed first in the door. So let's look at some of these quotes from, for example, Cindy Crawford. Even I don't wake up looking like Cindy Crawford, she said. Gilda Radner, wonderful comedian who unfortunately passed away much too young. You'd be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. And Lily Tomlin, who we love to death still. I always wanted to be somebody, but I should have been more specific. So let's think about those quotes for a minute. Even I don't wake up looking like Cindy Crawford. You know, everybody looks better with makeup. Even men who are on TV, they wear makeup. So there's nothing wrong with it. And, I love what Gilda Radner said. You'd be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. But you can also get great clothes and great looks on sale. And, of course, Lily Tomlin, be more specific. I always wanted to be somebody, but I should have been more specific. Love it all. Love it. So let's talk about what we're going to do next, which is tip number 11. Reinventing yourself stops the aging process. And that's the one thing I think is so important. I think there are people who are old at 30, and there are people who are 80 and as young as can be. And my friends, boy, they go from 30 to 80 and beyond. So because it isn't your age, it's your outlook, it's your philosophy, it's your whole total way of being. So here are my Gale's tales, because I am always reinventing myself. I think I'm now in my 8th or 9th reinvention. Here I am starting another business that I'm not particularly comfortable with. It's all virtual, online, and computer web driven. It hasn't been easy for me because I'm not a technically gifted person, which I'm still not, folks. But I am the ultimate entrepreneur, and I know this field is the key to the future. I'm building a business that will help many people. My first employee is 15 years old and teaching me a lot. In fact, I think many of you kind of go to your grandkids or your great-grandchildren and you say, can you help me figure this out? I'm taking instructions from a brilliant kid sitting in front of a computer the majority of time and starting something new that will provide financial security as I age. So now just about everything is on the computer. I'm doing this show on a computer. I write my newsletter on a computer. I do Facebook Lives on a computer. I get my email through computer much more than I get in the mailbox these days. Everything is on the computer and everything is online. So like it or not, I'm being dragged into this digital atmosphere. But I can also tell you that my 5-year-old great granddaughter can probably do more things than I can on this computer. And when anything new comes out, it takes me a while to learn it. But learn it I must if I want to keep up. So here are my lessons learned. Those some days are no longer in the future. You must take advantage of them now. It is never too late to learn something new or decide that you want to become someone else. You are only limited by your own imagination and thought processes. It's a wonderful bonus to have help in the journey by other people who will join joint venture with you, mentor, advise, and share. But anyone can grow if they believe hard enough. People don't grow old simply hmm, by having a certain number of years. People grow old by deserting their dreams. You are never too old to do anything you want to do because who or become who you'd like to be or to meet the man of your dreams. You can also become financially secure or take the world by storm. You are as young as fate, hope, and aspirations are in your future. The future is yours for the taking. Well, let's go to tip 12 because we only have a few minutes left in this broadcast. Manage your time wisely. So let's get right to the lessons learned because time management is so important. And I think it's something that we all need to be certainly aware of. So here you go. Here are Gail's tales for time management. If you're, well, let me start here. Those are my lessons learned. So got to be able to turn the page in my book here for Gail's tales. Okay, here we go. If you're not completely happy with your life, new things and new people, they will inject interest, excitement, and revitalization in your daily process. Of course, that could be good or bad. Either you will realize how great you already have it by yourself, or you will discover some wonderful new ideas and outlooks. Only by consistently experimenting with opportunities will you continue to grow. And for my lessons learned, hold on, folks, got to turn the page here. Well, that was my lessons learned. I'm going to give you my Gail's tales now. From childhood to adulthood, I've loved doing many things at once. As a kid, I had a dozen projects going all the time. In high school, I finished my classes by noon, practiced for my piano recital in the early afternoon, and then did dance routines with my partner in the afternoon. In the evening, I did my homework. During the summers, I often worked 2 or 3 jobs. In college, I went to 2 schools at the same time to graduate early, worked 2 jobs, was in theatrical productions, and still maintained a good grade average. As an entrepreneur, as soon as one business was running smoothly, I was on my way to adding another location or opening something allied. So despite being an SOB, multitasking is my nature. Doing only one thing is boring to me. I enjoy having many irons in the fire because they're all related. So I just want you to realize, because we've only got a couple minutes left, my tip number 13 is to find time for R&R, for rest and relaxation. And that's my last tip, so you're getting them all in. But my Gail's Tales for Relaxation is writing this book has been a wonderful time for me. It's allowed me to realize all the things I've done, how many happy experiences I've had, how life deals you little blows, just to let you know that you aren't the only one in charge and how quickly it all flies by. Each day offers me something new and something old. Each day I feel another pain and yet have more energy. Each day I become an even spunkier old broad. So just know in lessons learned, there's not just one way to do something. You can travel many paths to reach your goal. What's most important is that it's your path and your goal. I've learned that there are many people who have lived someone else's dream and not their own. Don't let your life end with the dream still in you. So there you have it, folks, my 13 tips. And hopefully that you will have enjoyed what we've done today, what we've talked about. And I'm going to have a list, and we'll put it up on the site of all of these tips so you've got them. So in case you missed any of them, you have them right in front of you. But it's so important to live the life that you want to live, how you want to live. And that's how I became the SOB. And that's why I have the SOB Club, because I want those of you that are over 50, in your 60s, 70s. I'm 82, and I keep going, and I keep inventing, and I keep reinventing, and I keep trying new things, even with everything that I'm going through. So I wish you the best, folks, and keep tuning in to our network and to the people that we have on here, because they're all wonderful. And I want to thank you for listening to me today. Hopefully it was helpful for you. And again, best wishes, all of you SOBs out there. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. Gail, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.